Regardless of whichever Gran Turismo game you choose, there's a pretty high probability that going on YouTube will result in common questions like how do I earn a lot of money quickly, or what's the best ways of earning money over and over again to earn the cars that I don't necessarily want to just win, but actually just want to buy. That's a fair point, and there are a number of ways on various racing games to do so. Now, I'm going to highlight two ways in this particular video, and I'm not going to say that these are the two best, but they are among the best, that's for sure. Now, the first one, as far as I'm aware, you can only do once, and it's under the Circuit Experience section. Now, Circuit Experience is where you basically drive on each individual section of a certain track's lap, and then the final stage is to do a full lap. So it's a fairly simple concept, and of course all of the tracks give you decent amounts of money. By far the best one though is the Nordschleife, which isn't too surprising. It's basically 2 laps in effect. It's 12 stages, you have to do 1 full lap at the end, and all of the rest is parts of a single lap. So in effect 2 laps. But the point is, if you can get the gold on each stage, which isn't ridiculously difficult, you can get well over 40 grand for each stage of it. That's a lot of cash, but as I said, I believe that only works once. I may be wrong, but I think you can only do that once. Now, the way which does work over and over again, it doesn't pay out quite as quickly as the Nordschleife does, but it's certainly more reworkable, is under the arcade mode section, specifically in custom races. Now, I would recommend a couple of things for this for it to work best. Of course, you can drive on any track you want for this to essentially work, but it works the best on Blue Moon Bay, because currently, at least at the time of releasing this video, that is the track which you can do the most laps of in the shortest possible time, because of course it's a form of oval track in effect. Now, it doesn't matter which version you choose as long as it's Blue Moon Bay. Choose whatever time of day you want. Now, as far as the car, again, it's down to you, but I would recommend by far and away using the Group X version in particular of the Tomahawk. Not just because it's pretty easy to beat the opposition in that car, but more importantly because it's so fast, literally more than twice the performance, for instance, of a Group 3 car around the track. Mine easily goes well over 380 around this circuit. It means that you can cover more distance and in less time, and that is the crucial thing. Now, once you've gone to this section, you basically want to set up the race in such a way that you make it as difficult as you can. So I'd recommend having it on endurance rather than number of laps, because it makes it simpler. The time limit doesn't really matter. I tend to do 20 minutes at the most, but you can even take it down as far as say 10. Well, actually, that is as low as you can go, 10 minutes. Then for the starting grid, I would recommend having it as high as possible. As far as cars, obviously you want as many as possible. I'd recommend a rolling start, but obviously that's down to you. I would turn boost off, that earns you more money and also gives you more of an advantage. Mechanical damage doesn't matter, fuel depletion doesn't matter, grip, tyre wear, slipstream, no, that doesn't make much of a difference, so I'd recommend turning it off again so that the game finds it more difficult to keep up with you. For the rolling starts, of course that depends, let's put it up for the sake of it. And then for the rest, it is one make. Difficulty, I would definitely recommend professional, but of course that depends from person to person. And then for this stuff down here, it doesn't really matter. So with that being said, you can then start the event, and of course the longer the race, the more you will earn. And basically the reason why I would recommend using the Tomahawk, as I was talking about just now, is that the Tomahawk is so fast that even in a 20-minute race, you can do around 50 laps of this track, because it only takes about 23 seconds. You can even break into the 22-second category around this circuit. Now, it might take you a couple of laps to get used to the car if you haven't driven it that much, and of course if you don't own the Tomahawk, that could be an issue. But you could theoretically do it with any car in the game, as long as you drive a car that you know that you can win with. Now, once you do that, you want to go into the race, and of course, depending on skill, etc., then just basically get to the front of the pack. That goes without saying. But the car is so quick, as I was saying just now, that you can cover a massive distance in a really short time. And as I said, it's not just the money that this is about, because the secondary benefit of this, and this is, I would say, a more important one, is that although you only earn about 27, 28 grand, depending on the time of the race of course, you can also earn a huge amount of mileage. So much so that in a 10-minute race on this circuit, you can literally do your entire daily quota, which in turn means that you can actually win a car after one 10-minute race every day. Now, of course, you have to wait till the next day to do it again, but still, the chances of having cars won that you wanted is pretty high. The odds are definitely in your favor when you do that. Now, you do need to be careful of the AI. They will sometimes bounce into you or bounce around you or overtake, stuff like that. You know, you don't want them overtaking, that's not the point. But they're not difficult to beat in the long run, and it's more about you getting used to the car than beating the AI. Because if you know the car well enough, they can't keep up with you, even on professional difficulty. And if you do so, you can win great cash, great mileage, and you can burn through miles like anything. You can easily get 100, 200 miles in about the space of 20, 30 minutes. So it's pretty crazy as far as a mileage and money earner. So if you do decide to use this method, of course, I hope you have a whole lot of fun with it, and there are plenty more tips and tricks and reviews that you can check out here on the channel for GT Sport. So, of course, if you'd like to check those out, you can click through to see those at the end of this video, or if you'd like to see more tips, tricks, reviews, tuning like this in future, then you can sub down below to potentially see it before anyone else. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.